Well, hi there. This is Anthony McAvaney from Get Online Lab. Some of you who are looking at this may never have heard of me. I know others perhaps will have been involved in some of the businesses I'm running. Basically, a bit of background. I'm a career transition coach. I've been doing that kind of work, I guess, for 20 years or more. And I've also been running active businesses online since about 2007. I decided to do this and ongoing series of live broadcasts to add my voice to give people some hope and some inspiration that while we're all faced with difficult times here at the moment, I think if we work together, if we apply our creativity and our inner genius, there are going to be ways around this. With people going into isolation, it is going to have an impact on lives. And look, I don't want to add to all of that bad news. There's plenty of other sources of information about how drastic this is going to be. And I'm not going to downplay that by any means. But let's focus on ways around that. My business and what I do is basically to coach people in how to set up an online business. Specifically, an business that has a focus around coaching. And I know for a fact there are people in future who are going to lose their jobs, and sometimes with little hope of ever recovering that. I read somewhere today that the economy is likely, with stock market crash, I think it was, it'll take something like 537 days to recover. So we're talking about a year and a half of economic impact. And so this idea that I have about coaching businesses, I actually started the business because in the work that I did in the outplacement industry, I continually came across people mid or a late career, people of my age who are sort of in semi-retirement. Let's deal with that first group first. People who are mid-late career who've lost their jobs and we're in a line of work where there's little prospect of actually finding another job or running the risk of finding another job and then all of a sudden finding themselves being made redundant at a future point in time. That's not a very secure way to live your life. And people of my age, who are going into retirement, a huge issue for all of us, I think. Unless you're extremely wealthy or you've been extremely prudent, you're actually not going to have a lot of money socked away to live a comfortable retirement. Here in Australia, people are not going to be able to afford to retire on a pension. So that leaves the question then, so how do you support yourself when the job prospect or the job market is pretty tight and your chances of being re-employed are pretty dim, or if you're going into retirement and you're either too old or you just don't want to work in a traditional sense anymore, how then start to provide for your financial security? And look, many people also going into retirement actually want to have brains that are active and they want to give back to society. And I figure, and I believe that all of us have the capacity to coach in something, and it doesn't have to be business related. It could be a hobby, it could be a sport that you play, it could be just related to some interest that you have. And if you're a part of the online world today, you know that the first step for most people is basically you'll go on and you'll do a Google search or similar for someone who has some answers to a problem that you might face. So I'll take something that I know nothing about. Let's say I wanted to start knitting. All right. My first step today will be to go on to Google and say, right, how do I learn how to knit? And I'll bet you my bottom dollar that there'll be quite a number of people there that will offer to teach me, whether that be a free or a paid service. I figure, and it has been in my experience in talking with people about this idea, one of the things that holds them back, a couple of things maybe. One is they don't necessarily have the tech savvy to be able to put all the parts of an online coaching business together. And the second thing is, how do you actually structure your teaching, your coaching, so that people actually learn what it is that you've got to teach? So that's what I do. And I'm putting together lots of stuff at the moment, have been for a little while now. Some of it will be paid, some of it's going to be free. And I hope through my broadcasts on this Facebook page, my Get Online Lab page, to start to provide information, resources to help people to think about other ways of generating like an income and a lifestyle for themselves. In this current environment, it's probably never ever been more important that we develop the skills to be self-reliant and self-sustaining. And if we acknowledge that the internet is the place where people go for solutions, there is more than likely a market for something that you're able to teach other people. Now, if any of this is of interest to you, I would encourage you to look out for these broadcasts. I'm going to regularly just let people know that I'm going to be online at such and such a time. And I'd love for people to join me live and to interact, and I'll be looking at comments and such. So look, this is my very first broadcast on this topic. I don't want to add to the gloom and doom. I want to reach a hand out and say to people, I genuinely know and believe that there are other pathways where you can begin to create an alternate way of living, an alternate kind of lifestyle that will provide some income for your family, that will help put food on the table. Now, look, certainly there's going to be work involved in doing something like that. But you know what? If people like me can do it, have a look at me, have a look at my age. I've taught myself to do this, admittedly with the help of some mentors. If I can do it, if you know how to actually use the internet, if you can use cut and paste in a Word document, you can do this. All you might need is some leadership and some guidance about how do you structure something like that, and what might be the moving parts that you need to put together in a coaching business. And that's my aim, is to be able to teach you to do that. Anyway, my website is getonlinelab.com, where you can learn a little bit more about me. I'll be also republishing these Facebook pages. I've got a blog, and there'll be different ways that you can actually begin to follow me. But in the first instance, if this has struck a chord, look, would you please share this with people that are going to likely to be affected from an employment perspective. I know there's a lot of people out there at the moment that are promoting similar things. Well, you may or may not identify with all of them, but I know some people out there will identify with someone from my background. So if that's of interest, please leave a comment, share, and stay tuned, because I genuinely want to help out. Anyway, this is Anthony McAvaney from getonlinelab.com saying thanks for watching, and yeah, let's work together on this. We'll get through it. See ya.